I'm not playing that George Bush video.
We can't get you too fired up about that. We'll wait for some reactions then.
Yes.
People saying how great he was.
How
confident he was during a crisis.
I refuse to watch it.
I don't care what George Bush says. Honestly, I don't care what he says. The issues that I have with Donald Trump, in addition to being an idiot and being grotesque, he's a Republican in the mold of George W. Bush. The pandemic, the head of the pandemic response team who sat on the National Security Council was fired by a guy who we wouldn't even know his name if it wasn't for George Bush installing him at the UN. Not nominating him, installing him. He nominated him. Bolton was rejected by a Republican Senate, and then Bush put him in on a recess appointment. We wouldn't even know that guy's name, never mind be the guy who oversaw firing the head of the pandemic response team in our, not just firing him, getting rid of the entire position. Everything that Clear Skies Initiative, everything programmatic that George Bush did, Donald Trump has been doing. George Bush was responsible for the trillions of dollars that we spent not in building infrastructure or health infrastructure, but instead in killing hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians, creating millions of refugees. The guy oversaw our torture regime. And yes, he can make a video saying that we need to be polite to one another. I mean, give me a break. Is that really the bar that we have for Donald Trump? That you can be praised if you were president and have the ability to say we should be nice to each other? Talk about not normalizing Donald Trump. This is the converse of normalizing Donald Trump. When you give plaudits to a guy who, same thing, in terms of wealth inequality, cut taxes for the rich, who started a war of choice by lying to the American public, wreaked havoc at the EPA, wreaked havoc at the DOJ Civil Rights Division, wreaked havoc with the USDA, put ultra right-wing conservative justices on the Supreme Court, created an infrastructure that Mike Pence basically uses in Donald Trump's administration. The problem with normalizing Donald Trump is not that it's that you're going to drop your standards for what we expect out of a president, what we expect out of people serving the public. And so when you praise George Bush just for coming out and acting like a normal human being, you are normalizing Donald Trump's behavior. You are saying that everything aside from that is like baseline. George Bush does not have the ability to rehabilitate himself. He doesn't. Can't bring back those people. They can't travel through time. George Bush does not have the ability to do things now. I know you could go, to a leper colony and still spend the rest of his life at the leper colony. Still, the past 12 years, he probably should have started as soon as he left office to even get close to being to be able to rehabilitate himself. And the idea that people are going to praise him, give me a break. Talk about normalizing Donald Trump. You're normalizing Donald Trump when you heap praise on George Bush because he's not as much of a douche as Donald Trump is, just as like a human being. It's like a much more polite dinner guest. Give me a break.
Yeah, and it also sets a precedent for the future, right? Because if you think the media won't try to rehabilitate Trump when we have, I don't know, like a proper fascist in office, you got another thing coming.
Of course they will. Yes, you're absolutely right.